Hello and welcome to the news update on Papyrus Global TV. My name is Christiana Babayo. Here are the headlines. 25 abducted Kebbi schoolgirls regain freedom after security operation. U.S. officials attend Nigeria House debate on security crisis. Governor Sule applauds Tinubu's handling of U.S. security criticism. Lawmaker Amiputan declares resolve to fight vote buying and rigging. Wike sets June 2026 deadline for Kuje Airport Road completion. VP Shetima returns to Abuja after representing Tinubu at G20 and AU-EU summits. Amnesty Program Chair urges national unity, calls for support for Tinubu's insurgency drive. And now the news in full. 25 female students who were abducted from the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in Maga, Kebbi State have been rescued and returned safely, according to government and security sources. The students, kidnapped on November 17th, were taken from their dormitory after gunmen stormed the school in Danko, Wasagu local government area, killing the vice principal and injuring a security guard. Security operatives, including the Office of the National Security Advisor and the Department of State Services and military units operating under various tactical commands, launched a coordinated rescue effort that concluded with the release of the abducted girls. Following the rescue, the presidency issued a statement welcoming the return of the students and ordering intensified security operations in vulnerable regions to prevent further kidnappings. Kebbi State Governor Nasir Idris confirmed the release and clarified that no ransom was paid by either the state government or federal government, underlining that the rescue was achieved solely through security operations. The students are reportedly being reunited with their families. Analysts describe the rescue as non-kinetic, signaling a shift from previous responses that relied heavily on force. The success has sparked relief nationwide, but also renewed concerns about the rising wave of school abductions across Nigeria. The safe return of the Kebbi schoolgirls is being hailed by pressure groups and security watchers as a divine victory, a rare win amid mounting public angst over insecurity. In an unusual display of international interest, officials from the U.S. Embassy were present Tuesday, November 25th, during a special plenary session of Nigeria's House of Representatives convened to address the escalating national security crisis. The session called off regular parliamentary business to prioritize security concerns, featured somber speeches from lawmakers who decried the recent surge in kidnappings, attacks on schools, abductions and violence that they said have destabilized communities across multiple states. In his opening remarks, Speaker Abbas Tajuddin laid bare the severity of the threat, coordinated attacks targeting civilians, students, worshippers, and security personnel in rapid succession aimed at spreading fear and undermining public confidence. Lawmakers called for sweeping reforms to Nigeria's security architecture. Among demands were decentralizing policing, granting states or local governments greater authority in security decisions, criminalizing ransom payments, creating a national border patrol force, and strengthening oversight of security operations. Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu warned that existing laws are inadequate, arguing that merely granting security forces more resources is insufficient. He insisted a holistic legal framework approach is essential to dismantle the structural weakness that criminals exploit. The presence of U.S. officials at the session, including the delegation from the U.S. Embassy and foreign dignitaries, signaled growing international concern over Nigeria's insecurity. While Nigeria reaffirmed its sovereignty, lawmakers said constructive foreign engagement can support reforms and intelligence cooperation that transcend national boundaries. As the debate continues, the House plans to table formal resolutions and legislative proposals aimed at security sector overhaul, with hopes of delivering recommendations to the executive by Wednesday, November 26th. Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has publicly commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for what he described as the president's calm and mature response to criticism from U.S. leadership over Nigeria's security situation. The praise came amid scrutiny following a public statement in which a foreign leader labeled Nigeria a country of particular concern for human rights and security-related issues. Speaking on national television, Governor Sule, who previously lived in the United States, argued that America's criticisms are often driven by U.S. national interests. He stressed that President Tinubu's composure under pressure, avoiding inflammatory reactions and opting for diplomatic decorum was the right approach, for Nigeria, noting that many had expected a more confrontational reaction after the foreign outburst. Sule's comments not only signal solidarity with the federal government but also reflects a broader call across some states for measured strategic responses to external pressure. In doing so, the governor positioned Tinubu's reaction as aligning with Nigeria's long-term diplomatic interests, even amid mounting domestic and international scrutiny over security challenges. A member of the National Assembly, Amiputan, has vowed to lead a legislative push against electoral malpractice, declaring that combating vote buying, rigging, and other forms of electoral corruption will be a top priority ahead of the upcoming election cycle. The announcement was made during a public address in his constituency, where he outlined plans to campaign for tougher laws and stricter enforcement mechanisms to safeguard Nigeria's democratic process. Amiputan emphasized that fair elections are paramount for national stability and democratic legitimacy. He argued that persistent electoral fraud, especially vote buying, undermines public trust, disenfranchises honest voters, and distorts representation. In his view, addressing these issues is critical to ensuring that government reflects the true will of the people rather than the interest of moneyed elites. As part of his commitment, the lawmaker said he will sponsor a bill that increases penalties for electoral offenders, mandates real-time monitoring of campaign finances, and enforces stricter vetting of election observers and polling agents. He also called on civil society, youth groups, and the electorate to uphold politicians' feet to the fire, promising that he will not hesitate to publicly expose any candidate or party found guilty of malpractice. Analysts say Amiputan's stance could mark a turning point if backed by broad political coalition, but warned that systemic issues such as weak institutional capacity, partisan control of electoral bodies, and socio-economic pressures remain significant obstacles to electoral reform in Nigeria. We will now go on a short break, and when we come back, the news will continue. Stay tuned.
The Papyrus Global, we don't just cover events, we create cinematic experiences. From red carpets to birthdays, gala dinners, and your fairy tale weddings, we bring your moments to life with high-tech precision. Our gadgets are smarter, our lenses sharper, and our team simply world-class. Trust the Papyrus Global to tell your story in the boldest, brightest way possible.
Welcome back, and now the news will continue. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has announced that the long-awaited road connecting the airport road to Kuje is now scheduled for completion by June 2026, describing the project as a key milestone for the area's economic transformation and urban connectivity. Wike made the declaration during an inspection tour of ongoing works under the contract handled by Arab contractors, expressing satisfaction with the quality and pace of work. He revealed that the project, initially awarded in 2019 but stalled for years, has regained momentum since his ministry intervened with both contractor obligations and FCTA oversight now aligned to meet the new timeline. The road upgrade is part of a broader strategy to dualize critical FCT corridors, including companion works on the Kuje-Gwagwalada axis, handled by another firm, Gilmore Engineering. Wike said the dualization, together with the airport road link, would significantly improve internal connectivity, reduce traffic bottlenecks, and open up economic opportunities for communities along the route. If delivered on schedule, the project is expected to reshape infrastructure within the FCT, easing movement between the capital and Kuje Area Council, unlocking development potential and boosting local commerce. Vice President Kashim Shettima returned to Abuja on November 25th, Tuesday evening, coming back from a diplomatic mission that saw him represent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at both the 2025 G20 Leaders Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa, and the 7th Africa Union-European Union Summit in Luanda, Angola. At the G20 summit, Shettima delivered the president's address calling for reform of global financial and economic governance, arguing that multilateral institutions must evolve to reflect contemporary global realities. In Angola, at the AU-EU summit, he presented Nigeria's positions on sustainable development, African-led security cooperation, and the push for permanent African representation with veto power at the United Nations Security Council. The message underscored Nigeria's commitment to stronger Africa-EU collaboration on infrastructure, climate, and economic development. Upon arrival in Abuja, Shettima reaffirmed the administration's belief in multilateral cooperation and global partnerships as central to Nigeria's growth strategy. His return rounds off a high-stakes diplomatic swing that places Nigeria firmly on global and continental diplomatic agendas. The chairman of the Phase 3 Presidential Amnesty Program, PAP, Godstime Ogidigba, has called on Nigerians, especially youths from the Niger Delta, to unite behind Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his administration's ongoing efforts to combat rising insecurity across the country. Speaking at a gathering in Niger Delta youths in Benin, Ogidigba warned that negative commentaries and public protests against the Amnesty Office were counterproductive and dangerous to national efforts at restoring peace. He urged citizens to reject divisive rhetoric and instead contribute constructively to the fight against terrorism and banditry. The PAP chairman emphasized that combined action and unity, transcending religious, ethnic, or regional differences, are essential to defeating terrorists and safeguarding national stability. He praised private security outfits such as the one operated by the ex-militant Chief Tompolo, Tantita Security Company, for their role in protecting critical oil infrastructure and supporting anti-sabotage efforts in the Niger Delta. Ogidigba further encouraged those planning protests against the Amnesty Office to abandon such moves and instead engage in dialogue, warning that disruptions would undermine the region's fragile peace and ongoing rehabilitation programs. He called on the broader Nigerian public to support Tinubu's security policies, arguing that only collective effort can restore order and secure lasting peace. Paraphrasing a popular refrain, united we stand, divided we fall. And that's all we have on the news update on the Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo. Thanks for joining us.